You are probably struggling to control your blood sugars, working, raising kids, busy, taking care of parents, and even pets, and trying to do everything right, and wondering if your energy levels will hold up and if you'll ever keep blood sugars in good range. I completely get it because I spent years failing to stabilize my own blood sugars. And after years of trial and error, I figured out a huge piece of the puzzle that allowed me to lower my A1C from the high eights to the low sixes and keep it down until this year when my sugars started to become harder to control and predict no matter what I did. I discovered that it's not just about diet or insulin. It's about the brain. So today we're talking about the dopamine blood sugar connection, something that no one else is talking about, and week 3 of my dopamine detox experiment. Later in the video, I will share what happened to my blood sugars and a shocking, surprising, unexpected, but welcome side effect. I've lived with type 1 diabetes for 4 decades. I've raised 2 type 1 kids and worked as a diabetes educator. And totally get the challenges of living with diabetes. Feeling frustrated myself with the highs and lows of blood sugars. So I decided to try something different. A dopamine detox, which is, in my opinion, a cheat code to stabilizing blood sugars long term. I will share with you what the heck a dopamine detox is, why you should consider trying this if you struggle with your own blood sugar control, what I gave up for this detox, and what habits I've used to substitute and keep me sane. I'll also share 3 big struggles, 2 big wins, and of course that shocking side effect. And at the very end, I'll share my before and after blood sugar results. All of these things you can use to lower your blood sugars too. Now, this is not medical advice. Everybody's diabetes journey is different. This is just me sharing my experience as a fellow diabetic. I'm definitely not a doctor. So what the heck is a dopamine detox? And please skip this section using the chapters below if you've watched my previous videos. A dopamine detox is giving up those quick, easy, pleasurable things that provide you with instant satisfaction, like scrolling on TikTok, online gambling, binge watching Netflix, porn, junk food, alcohol, and coffee, to name just a few. By detoxing, or giving these things up, you essentially reset your brain, leaving more time and motivation for more satisfying and productive things, or the simple pleasures in life we tend to miss out on when pursuing quick mood boosters that are short-lived. With more balanced brain neurochemicals like dopamine, you get better overall moods, mental clarity, and more importantly, energy levels, and motivation to do the things that matter, like spending time with the people you care about. So you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with diabetes and blood sugars? Or is there really a dopamine blood sugar connection? Well, dopamine affects cravings, motivation, and stress levels, which can directly and indirectly impact blood sugar. Cravings lead to overeating the wrong types of foods. Like, I can't remember not craving munchies during a Netflix binge session ever. Just goes hand in hand. Lack of motivation leads to poor health choices like watching hours of TV instead of exercising. Stress causes the body to be resistant to insulin and can lead to you having stubborn, hard to treat high blood sugar. All these can make your blood sugar impossible to control. Later in the video, I will share how this detox, after only 3 weeks, can drastically improve your blood sugars. So what did I give up? During this 4-week detox, I gave up social media scrolling, binge watching TV, especially while eating, using my phone in bed, coffee, and alcohol. If you decided to follow me on this detox journey or have tried a fast or detox in the past, let me know in the comments. So, how did it go for me? It took 1 full week to give up coffee, and it was the hardest thing to give up. I still wasn't able to give up the wine in week 2, but before we get to the wine story, I have successfully given up social media scrolling, binge watching TV, using my phone in bed, and a huge one for me, coffee. That was really hard. With no coffee for 2 weeks now. It's getting easier. The first few days really sucked, if you watch my last video. Before I reveal how it went with giving up alcohol, let's talk strategies and new habits. Well, walking at work and outside almost every day has certainly helped. I also signed up for some fitness classes at the local gym and started weight training again. So I've been substituting some positive things. And one surprising change, which was unexpected, and I mentioned this in my last video, is entering into an existential, reflective headspace, thinking deeply about my goals, my future, my values, a little too deeply, really, which I'll explain in a moment. Before I reveal how I did with the no alcohol part of this detox plan, let's dive into 3 struggles this week. So as I mentioned, struggle number 1, dealing with these deep thoughts and existential kind of feelings. With no distractions, I found myself thinking a lot. I mean a lot. Last video here, I was stuck in my head, and this was so uncomfortable. You can imagine, if you're anything like me and you live in your head, it makes things uncomfortable and can cause you to reach for those quick fix pleasurable insta habits to ease your mind or numb your brain, aka everything on my list to give up during this detox. This week it was more deep. I mean, clear, steady, and calm. So a little bit more comfortable versus last week when it was uncomfortable and anxious all the time. It was calm thoughts about my life, future goals, and what really matters. Like I said, this dopamine detox forces you to sit with emotions instead of numbing them. This was uncomfortable, as I mentioned a few times, but honestly needed. Well worth it when you hear the shocking side effect, which I will get to later in the video. So struggle number 2, low mood and getting moving. I struggled in week 3 quite a bit with a low mood. Stuck on my detox plan, though, didn't give it up. But one evening I got home from work and I was so low. I basically took every energy I could summon to walk to my couch, flop onto the couch, throw a blanket over myself, and just sit there. I binge watched a TV show, so I slipped up there a little bit. And that was the lowest mood day so far. Each passing day, the mood's got a little bit better, and I hope it continues. Struggle number 3, the last addiction, alcohol. Giving up alcohol was the final piece, and I gave it up with 0 drinks in week 3. Thank you. I know, keep it down. Don't clap too loud. I really felt the pull on day 3 to drink. That was really hard. On my way home from work, picture this, driving home, I get the urge. Now, the wine store and the gym are directly across from each other. I turn left, I get wine. I turn right, I get to lift heavy things, be uncomfortable, and sweat. I took every ounce of brain power to not turn left. And instead, I turned right, which I was really proud of myself. And into the parking lot, to my gym, I strolled in, did my workout. So the challenge of breaking that habit after a long day of work was really hard. Because typically I would have turned the other way into the wine store. And as I describe in my week 2 video here, this became a go-to reflex more often than I like to admit. The rewards, though, have been amazing. I'm way more energy and mental clarity. Sleep quality drastically improved. And it's nice waking up feeling refreshed and rested. Blood sugars have really been more predictable and leveled out. Before we get to the shocking side effect, let me share a couple of wins. Win number 1, energy, mental clarity, total boost. 3 weeks in, and I finally feel like my mind and mood are starting to really become steady and clear. People at work are asking me what's changed. I think they think I'm a little extreme or crazy for giving everything up at once, but I believe that energy is contagious and notice more positive interactions with people at work after 3 weeks on this detox. No caffeine, no alcohol, no distractions equals better focused, better mood, and better productivity. No more dopamine crashes from all the quick insta habits, just constant, stable energy. Win number 2, podcasts. Yeah, I discovered podcasts. I swapped binge watching Netflix for podcasts. I'm not sure if it's still an addiction. I don't think so. But learning while walking is a double win, really. I get to learn things and walk and exercise. I listen to podcasts on the drive to work and the drive home too, versus listening to bad news on loop. Now, my 2 favorite podcasts so far are Mel Robbins and Andrew Huberman. Both have great episodes. One, the recent one I listened to, was on alcohol, and Andrew Huberman did an amazing one on motivation, and he dives into the dopamine pathway. He's a neuroscientist. Okay, now for the shocking side effect and major win, energy. I don't know if you can tell, but I have so much energy. I sleep less, but it's deeper. So since I'm not wasting time binge watching and scrolling, I've been able to spend time doing valuable things and have way more energy to do it, like working on my YouTube stuff, reading more, learning. I expected more energy, but you combine energy, mental clarity, and a good mood and stable blood sugars, that's crazy. Amazing things happen and will happen. So I'm still using all my other dopamine detox strategies I've talked about in my previous videos. And everything from the first 2 weeks still applies, like routines, going to bed at the same time, blood sugar friendly habits that I currently use, and mindfulness. But each week I feel more in control of my habits and my diabetes and blood sugars. Here's what happened to my blood sugars. Before this crazy self-experiment, my blood sugar average was 7.1 with time in range at 88%. Not bad. At the end of week 3, my blood sugar average is 6.4 and my time in range is 94%. This self-experiment continues to show me that less dopamine chaos equals better blood sugar control. You can consider using to stabilize your blood sugars. This detox is no longer just an experiment. It's becoming a new way of life. Next week is the final stretch. Will I keep this up long term, or will I crash and burn into my old habits? We shall see. I don't think I'm going to go back to my old ways. Let me know in the comments if you've tried cutting back on quick dopamine hits. Subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss the next video, the final one in this